Welcome to this video. Today is going to be for those of you who are feeling like you are literally putting everything out there, putting your whole self out there on social media to convert to either a coaching program or into one of the services that you provide. And no matter what you're doing, your message just does not seem to be landing. So I'm going to be talking about why you're not getting any conversions at the moment. And I have surmised it down to 4 key reasons. I've worked a lot with my clients over the last 90 days. So this is very fresh, very of the now reasons why content isn't converting into paid customers and clients. And especially if you're following this channel or you've stumbled on this video, my name is Ruby Lee, by the way. I have spent all year in a daily sales experiment, meaning that I've switched my high ticket only model into low ticket daily selling and passive income. And it has been an incredible journey. I have learned so much in 2025 and I can't wait to take it into 2026. I make videos like this one where I talk about the trial and the errors and what I'm finding and what my clients are finding as well. So if you are in that moment where you are posting and you're selling and you are doing all the things and your content is still not landing, I'm about to go through these 4 messaging mistakes that's causing what I believe is a bottleneck in the way that you are receiving clients and that you are cutting through on socials, wherever it is that you're hanging out. Now, I mostly hang out on Instagram and YouTube and the podcast. If you have other social platforms, this is going to be universal. I think messaging is messaging. And if you are wanting to attract more clients online, this is going to change the way that you think about writing and the way that you are creating content every single day. So let's get into it. I have my trusty Apple Pen with me right now, and let's take a look at mistake number 1. So I am going to say that mistake number 1 is you are showing up online as the expert. Okay. Now, obviously we want to build authority and obviously you want to be seen as the expert online. So hang with me for a second. Why I really see this as a number 1 issue with the way you're writing to convert is you are speaking in expertise mode instead of buyer mode. So let's use a therapist as an example. I actually work with quite a few therapists and professionals in the health sector. And a therapist might say, I use integrated somatic processing to help you regulate internal states. And meanwhile, you're thinking, I think I need a therapist. I need to speak to somebody. Something doesn't feel right. I feel very anxious. I feel really unsettled. I can see that I'm going through old patterns again. And honestly, I just want to stop overthinking at night so that I can sleep. And if you think about that, that's the difference, right? So you've got an expert saying, I'm going to help you regulate internal states. And you've got your buyer saying, I just want to sleep at night and be less anxious. If you're a business coach, you might say, I teach scalable offer ecosystems. To you, that is a no-brainer. That is very clear. That is exactly what you know so well. But your client is thinking, oh, I just need somebody to help me make consistent income. I just want to make 1 sale today to prove that there's something going on with my business, that there's proof of life in my company. And that's what they're saying. Whereas you're going scalable ecosystems and it's just going way over their heads. Okay. So experts talk like experts. Buyers are looking for solutions. So hopefully this has helped you think, if you're mostly showing up in only the expert voice, how can you shift your voice to become more for the buyer? Okay. Mistake number 2. You are explaining your work instead of positioning your value. So I'm just going to put here explaining or explain or over explaining. Okay. Does anyone else write like that? You're like, bap, bap, bap. Anyway, so you're over explaining instead of positioning your value. So you are not, I'm just going to put value here. And this one here, you're not thinking about the buyer. Sorry, guys. This is how my mind works. Is this how yours goes? I'm just like, wait, we need to fill in all this stuff. Okay, back to number 2. Over explaining and not actually talking about the value. So let's go to another industry just to give you a wide range of different examples. A photographer, for example, might say, I use natural light, multiple lenses, and long form editing to make sure that your photos are of the highest pixelation and quality. Like, what is that? What do you want as someone who just needs some nice photos for their annual family shots or photos for their brand, photos for a newborn baby, right? So your client actually wants a brand to look great or photos to look clear and natural. Like that's something I look for, natural photography, documentary style photography, so that whoever it is that is your most ideal client, they're buying or reaching out to you a lot faster. So thinking about like the value that I'm looking for is someone who can help me relax so that the photos look more documentary style as opposed to just this like, buttoned up corporate look. That's not what I'm after at all. If you're a career coach, you might be saying in the over-explaining territory, something like, I will help you rewrite resumes and optimize your profile. I will then take some of those aspects out to LinkedIn. I'll help you write your cover letters and optimize those as well for a lot of the AI type bots that are going on right now when you're going on for jobs. Too much over explaining. Your client who is literally needing help to look for a job, they just want to know that you can help them land a better paying gig without sending out hundreds of applications. That's the value I'm paying for. That is the shortcut that I'm paying for. That is the level of expertise that I'm paying for, but you don't need to over explain that. People are buying outcomes, not your internal to-do list, okay? They don't need to know like what tools you're using and all of that. I mean, some people may naturally be interested, but I think if you're just thinking about messaging on the internet, which is moving so quickly, you need to think about the way that you're positioning yourself in that way. Okay, mistake number 3 is this. You are skipping over the basics. And this is actually, it does intersect with some of the other areas we've talked about, especially if you're speaking as an expertise. People don't understand what you're saying, even if it is so basic to you. So one of the coaches that I used to follow all the time, he used to say, you're speaking in your first language. It's like if you're fluent in Italian or Chinese and you're just like, how do you not even know how to count to 10 and say hello? And someone who's never heard the language before, who'd never attempted to learn it before is like, wait, slow it down. What does that mean exactly? I want you to think about it as it's your first language, but it's not your buyer's first language. So, for example, a wellness coach might say, you need to reduce your cortisol spikes and learn how to calm down your overactive nervous system through nervous system regulation in the mornings. Like, what does that actually mean to somebody, especially a client who's thinking, I honestly just want my mornings to feel calm and I don't wake up feeling this way? Come back to the basics. A social media manager is going to say something like, you need retention hooks, short form storytelling tactics, when really your client who's not understanding social media at all is like, hey, I just want to know that being able to invest in you, your programs, your services, that people are actually going to see my content. See how basic that is? Meet them where they are, not where you are. You cannot expect them to know every single piece of jargon in your industry. And that's actually a really great reality check because you might not even realize it's jargon. For a lot of the time we study so much and we're so in depth with our learning. That's why you're here on YouTube, right? And you have had, months and months, years and years of experience, but your ideal client is like, hey, I'm still at square one. I have no idea what you're talking about. More than likely why they're skipping over you and going to somebody else who's just explaining it in very simple ways. Okay, lastly, mistake number 4, you're writing content that makes sense to you, but it doesn't make sense to them. So have it make sense. And I'll say in brackets here, I'm going to say skimmable because I'll talk about that. Okay. Social media is a very, very quick vehicle. Social media is like a Ferrari. So you really need to think about, like, as someone is sitting in that Ferrari and they're literally zooming past a billboard, what are they seeing? That's the skimmable aspect. And you're writing content that needs to make absolute sense to them. So let's say you are a nutritionist and you're talking about balanced macros, counting calories, chemical imbalances, creating a sustainable metabolic regulation of some kind. Okay, your client is literally going to be thinking, girl, I'm just tired after meals and I get a bloated gut. Can you fix me? Just simple, basic things. I can help fix your bloated gut. Okay. And then you can go into the detail with them when they become a client. You can explain the science behind it. A business mentor might be saying something like, you need an activated messaging stack with emotional proof, and you need to also have all of these little micro funnels running in the background, and perhaps some boosted ads with targeted audiences in this sector and this sector. Okay. Like your client who's literally just starting out a business or who's wanting to rebrand is asking you, hey, I'm posting daily, no one's buying, can you help me? Basic, I can help you make daily sales. That's what I'm all about. I can help you make daily sales. Once you're on the inside of my masterminds and you're coaching with me, we explain that in depth. I explain that in depth to you. Keep it basic, keep it simple, and keep it skimmable so that they're not needing to sit there for ages and ages and working out, hang on, like what's going on here? If you can fix these 4 mistakes right here, your message is going to stop floating past people. I guarantee that. And it's going to start becoming the reason why people are not just buying from you, they're referring people to you. So then their friends are going, oh, I get it. I know why Ruby is recommending me to you. I can see myself as the buyer. I also can obviously see you as an expert, but I understand the value that you're giving me. Thank you for not skipping over the basics and speaking to me in a way that makes sense, in a way that's skimmable, okay? All of these will start becoming reasons why more and more people are going to convert every time you write. Now, if you want to know more deeply how to create content like this, subscribe to the channel. I will always help you out in that way. Make sure that you go down to the show notes. You might be interested in my program called Monetize Your Message. This is literally one of the aspects that we'll be going through in quite a bit of detail. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are wanting to keep going, learning about how to make daily sales, I know you're going to love this video right here.